All right, this is Derek with 100 Interviews. We're here with Aubrey Sabala. She's with Digg. How you doing, Aubrey?
I'm good. How are you?
She is Obs on Twitter. If you don't know, you need to follow her because she puts out some good stuff. So how's your South by been going so far?
It's pretty amazing. This is the 5th of 6 years that I've been here.
Ooh.
So I think I've actually stayed a little more sober this year than in years past. Which
Yeah,
is,
everyone says this is a traveling party. Wherever they go, it's
it's amazing. I see some of my favorite people. It's basically all of San Francisco plus Seattle, LA, etc.
it's one big meetup.
It is. It is for a woman that actually throws a lot of those for her company. This is the ultimate meetup in its own.
So what are you still doing for Digg?
I'm the marketing manager there. So we had a pretty great event last Saturday at Stubbs. We had around 2,600 people through the course.
Yeah, I showed up for about 15 minutes and got packed.
And got packed, and then I heard that story many times over.
It was still fun.
Oh, good.
But then we saw Kevin show up at the Driscoll, so
Oh, right.
he brought his fun from Stubbs over to the Driscoll.
He did. His father was in town, so it was his first time his dad actually got to see Kevin do a live diggnation. So
That was awesome that you guys did that. I got the tail end of it. What was the thought process behind that?
behind the party or behind
Having diggnation have a live show there.
We work with Revision 3, when we can. We're actually going to do one in New York at Webster Hall, which is a pretty huge venue too. It holds 3,000 people during Internet Week, which I'm excited about. But when we can partner up with the team from Revision 3 and do a diggnation, we do, because basically the fans don't necessarily delineate between Digg and diggnation, and they're basically our sister company, so one big happy family. So
that's awesome. Well, it was good stuff.
Thanks.
So the whole premise of 100 Interviews was to really talk to, quote unquote, the movers and shakers within the social media scene. We really wanted to get an insight on how you're using social media in your regular life. Not so much maybe work, but it can cross over to that. But how are you using it to stay connected with your friends and your family?
It's been interesting. I actually am I consider like an old school, and I'm a writer, so an old school blogger. Had a website since 2000, and even at the peak when I actually had a lot of people there, let's say there were maybe on a great day I'd have 1,000 visitors to it. It's kind of amazing and very, very humbling to see that there's 11,000 plus people that actually care to see what I write in 140 characters. It's really changed my view on what entails writing. I started a website 9 years ago because I wanted to get published. It was, as you know, it's really hard to get published if you can't show them clips or anything. So that was the way that I had to, I wrote articles on it and then would submit them to magazines and newspapers, and eventually got published from that, to the point that I had, a couple weekly columns in different publications. So in my head, it was never really a blog. It was a website, and I was writing articles. Fast forward 9 years, I'm now writing 140 little snippets, character snippets of.
You think that's more difficult to write or less difficult?
I don't know. I like it. It's a challenge. My role before at Digg was actually at Google, and I wrote the ads. My role was a creative maximizer, so I wrote the ads on Google. So I always had to condense words pretty succinctly.
So you were ready for 140 characters before it was even there.
Anyway. Exactly. Yeah, actually a little bit less than that. So I was writing 25, 35, 35. So it's actually about 95 characters. So my brain does work.
I hope Twitter doesn't go down to that.
It would be a challenging thing.
Oh goodness.
But I don't know. I find myself as I'm going through my daily life and noticing things, and I am pretty irreverent on this as it may be. I find myself actually thinking in very small snippets too. And I'm like, how?
Is this making us all ADD?
A little bit. Oh, certainly. I think we all are totally ADD. But I love both Ev and Biz and Jack as well. And I'm just like, you're making my brain think differently, guys. It's interesting though, because I've lived in Ohio, Georgia, DC for grad school, and California. So I do have a good number of people on Facebook that I don't add anyone that I don't actually know. There's a lot of people that I haven't caught up with since high school at all. And because my Twitter stream goes to Facebook, they're just like, wow, you're just updating it all the time. Because they, until very recently, they hadn't heard that. And they just think I basically sit on Facebook and just update my status 12 times a day, which I don't.
My mom thinks the same thing. She's like, when are you actually getting your work done?
Exactly. But I get a lot of comments because now you can comment on status on Facebook.
Right.
So from people that, I haven't seen in 10 plus years are just like, oh, that's hilarious, you're really witty. And I'm like, no, it's just really nice to stay in touch, because Facebook is great, but when you do have a lot of people on there, it's difficult to see what everyone's doing.
Exactly. And your stream is just overloaded.
Yeah, completely. And I miss a lot of things that I'd like to know. I have a lot of friends in Ohio that are married with kids, and being able to look at the pictures of their kids and all that is always really fun. So I don't know, it makes me I love that they are taking the time to come over and make a comment or even just like reach out.
Well, speaking about that, do you think it's interesting that Facebook is looking more and more like Twitter, kind of every time they do a revision?
I think Twitter has something about the stream was kind of, yeah, I think it's interesting, but I think it actually makes sense. I mean, we get questions about that with Digg too, like do we want, like a stream of like personal things on there. I like the integration personally. There are times that I do worry, and I've never, until very recently, created like a different group in Facebook to kind of filter some content
Right.
out, because I'm very, if I don't actually know you and have not had like a full conversation and have met you, I'm not going to add you as a friend. Just, that's me and my little paltry way to keep my privacy, even though like I'm totally, 11,000 people know exactly what I had for breakfast today, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not like you're very transparent or anything.
No, I'm such a woman of mystery.
Yes.
But no, it's interesting. I think it's smart on their part, though.
Well, we really appreciate your time here, but we want to make this a little maybe fun on the back end. You said you might have a funny social media story for us?
I do. I will embarrass myself in this one as well.
Oh, I always love that. These are the best ones.
So it involves the word fellatio. And my friend, Joe Stump, so I'm throwing him under the bus too, at Joe Stump, he actually sent out a Twitter and he misspelled the word fellatio. And I'm like, oh, that's totally misspelled. I was also the 4th grade spelling bee champion.
Oh, goodness.
I was like, that's misspelled. So I actually go into an email and I start to type it because I was like, am I wrong? Is this not how you spell it? And the Apple Dictionary like doesn't have it in. And I'm like, how does it not have the word fellatio in it? So like I actually go to like dictionary, like I was right. He did misspell it. So I sent out a Twitter, I was like, for some reason my email doesn't know the word fellatio. How is that possible? So that goes to my Facebook status. And my 61-year-old uncle, who is the chief of police in Lakewood, Ohio, saw that as my status and promptly replied, I don't understand what type of work correspondence you were doing that you need to know how to spell the word fellatio. So now I have a group for family and my status updates.
That is an awesome story.
So yeah, self-deprecating works.
Good deal. Well, Aubrey, we really appreciate your time here at South by, and we hope you have continued success at Digg, and thank you for stopping by.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. It's good to meet you.
Thanks.
All right.